Radio team, welcome to module number 6, Unlocking Potential. And this is our final module, and we're really going to craft in on a couple of key statements that are going to help us not only identify what niche we're in, but also explain to others what the difference is compared to our competitors. That's one of our aims for today's module. So hopefully from module number 5, we will remember we've got our expert's journey, and you've identified or maybe still working out where you are on that journey continuum. And I find it a real vital tool because it gives you a place in this ecosystem. Before I came across that little model which was shared by Sam Ovens in the Coaching Accelerator program, I was wondering, where am I? I want to get into my own business. I want to provide some expertise, but how do I go about it? How do I start? And by having this model or this pathway in the journey, I was able to identify, okay, cool, I fit here. The next step is maybe one-on-one and then group coaching, and then it's online programs. And it just mapped out some steps. So hopefully that's helped with you as well. And you've got a bit of an idea of a niche. Now, don't be like me and think you have to hit the home run with the first hit or with the first niche you pick. All right, this whole process is about trialing, getting feedback, readjusting, trialing again. And that's why that definition of failure that we spoke about a couple of modules ago, definition of failure is basically when you stop trying. Okay, as long as we just keep putting things into action, as long as we keep taking the next step forward, we will find the niche that will be of value to the marketplace. All right, and if you've already down that journey around mastering a niche, if you can look at your movie or your personal story and you can identify, gosh, here's some skills, here's some knowledge that I'm a master at, then you're going to work into this proof of concept. So what are the recipes to make you a master? What recipe can you take and coach or teach others and gets them the same result? That's that proof of concept phase. And that's the contribution phase. If we think back to the formula in module 1, growth and contribution. And no better way to contribute to other people's growth by saying, hey, here's a recipe to get the result. Here's a recipe, follow the steps, and you get the result. That's pretty motivating. And this part about the blue ocean, you'll keep researching that, and that may take a few weeks. You may see it straight away because you're so knowledgeable about the niche you might be about to walk into. But again, don't put pressure on yourself to hit the home run on the first ball. Alrighty, secrets for this module number 6. All right, there literally is no way back now to accepting your 9-to-5 job that you're at. There's no way back in accepting that you're not an expert because you can look at the skills and knowledge you've got, or you can find a painful problem and learn that knowledge, okay? And so you will be feeling maybe a bit fearful, maybe a bit doubtful, but feel the fear, okay? And it's actually a good sign. It shows you're stepping outside your comfort zone, that blanket that we've been living in for myself, it was 14 years. I had ideas of wanting to start my own business many times and didn't take the steps required. I got put off by the first challenges as that popped up. So feeling the fear is a good sign that you're heading in the right direction. And going back to Tim Ferriss's fear setting process, what is the worst that could happen? I mean, we can do all this research about what niche we could fill. We could do all the research around the painful problems, find what painful problems exist out there. We can do all of this at the same time as just doing our day-to-day job right now. Okay, so there is no risk to doing this aspect. I suppose the only risk is you might lose a few hours sleep. Okay. And last one is we just got to face those fears. As you learned in the self-betrayal process and broken agreements process, by facing those and overcoming them, that weight off the shoulders, really makes you feel energized to move forward. So we know by facing these fears and anxieties we might have around going into our own niche, when we overcome them, we feel more empowered. All right, I just want to touch on a bit more around mindset, because we are literally going to step into a world of unknown for us who have stayed in that comfy blanket for, many, many years. And the mindset is really important. Just like we're prepping for a game or a season or a competition, we know it's the top inches that make the difference. Same for us here in this business concept. And, I want to touch on this formula here. And some of us may have experienced the law of attraction. I came across this probably 2005, and I always knew positive thinking was a method. And I suppose the law of attraction really, the DVD, The Secret, when it came out, really just brought to life the benefits of positive thinking. And I lived by this for 14 years. What I thought would then affect my feelings, which would then affect my actions. And so I did a lot of personal development around the thoughts. So I thought, okay, what's the core of the problem? Let's get the thoughts right, and then everything else will follow. So I'd visualize, I'd get the vision board and stick it on the wall. We'd, set goals, and we'd do imprinting, so visualizing with music to really feel and get inspired and let it sink in. And we had some success, I remember thinking about making the Auckland Academy when I was about 19. I remember seeing my mate make the Auckland Rugby Academy, and they get 5 trainings a week where they're supervised. They get their own trainer, they get their specific programs, and they'd trot off to Eden Park at the training facility there and get trained 5 times a week. And those of us that are not in the academy have to go and do it on our own. We'd have to go do our own running, go find our own gym programs. We wouldn't have that support. I remember going, right, I want to make that. In 2 years I want to make that, and it was in front of mine for a long time, and we made it. And so we had some success with this formula and process. What I want to highlight, though, is throughout my 14 years, there were things that were holding me back. And this formula didn't address that. Okay, and what I want to touch on next is hopefully going to help enhance this formula here around law of attraction, but also provide a clearing or a strong foundation for this formula to operate. So what I'm going to talk about here is our past. And this is a great quote, because like we talked about in the broken agreements and the self-betrayal, if we live our life like that, it then causes things from the past to cause this undercurrent. It actually causes this force of undercurrent to pull you back against the goals that you're trying to achieve or succeed or fulfill your own potential. And by addressing those undercurrents like you did with the broken agreements, the self-betrayals, you're then releasing and completing the path. You're putting a full stop on that end of in that part of your life. And that's where fear and doubt come from for me. I was fearful of stepping out and starting my own business because I had family members that didn't succeed in that space. I didn't succeed when I tried previously in that space. And it's similar to like starting a new diet. You set that goal. It might be a New Year's resolution. You start day one really great, and part of me started to think, well, okay, when are the wheels going to fall off? Because they have every other time with food. And so that's that undercurrent pulling you back. So we need to complete, and we need to put a full stop on anything that's causing interference from the past. And, now you know how to do that. It's important that when things come up that potentially could cause interference, that you address them there and then. Remember, leaving that person, whoever that interference is with, touched, moved, or inspired is crucial. Okay, and the other part is you might just have areas where you have loss of self-expression with someone, loss of power with someone. So for me, it was always my managers, in the hierarchy. I would never behave the way I would behave or express myself the way I expressed myself, like I did with my mates when the boss was around. And, depending on the type of boss, there was interference there because one wasn't a very friendly guy, the other was very, Hitler-like. So we need to address that as well, any areas. And you say you need to approach whoever it is that you have a loss of self-expression with, because these things will cause us to keep thinking about the past. And that's the key. We want to put a full stop. And when I addressed my interferences, it was a bit of a surreal experience because of, a lot of the things from the past that I used to spend a lot of time thinking about, it just wasn't there anymore. So once we deal with the past, we then got to deal with this, for some of us, this anxiety and worry about the future. And mine was obviously around financials. I'd set this promise to my darling that I'd get her anything she wants. We'd have time and money. Follow me, and we tried 5 different ventures to achieve that outcome with no or minimal success. And so I'd always worry about, how am I going to get that future for my family? I'd worry or get anxious about, am I going to work till 65? Is that what this is? Is that what I'm going to do? And then when I thought of opportunities to jump into, I'd always have that fear of what would people think, what might happen. And when I addressed that, and how I addressed it is, I realized I couldn't control the future. And this was a big shift in mindset for me because I practiced that law of attraction. What you think about will come about, and what you think about will come about. And so in my head, I was controlling the future. Well, you can, I suppose, have an influence on your mindset around where you're going. Like that picture that you look ahead in the future could be rosy rather than dark. But you can't control what will happen. And the epiphany that I had around this was when my daughter was tantruming about the scooter in the back room. And when I got to the bottom of it, I asked her, why? And she said, because you didn't fix mine. And my memory went back to an event 6 months earlier where we were going to scooter to Kohanga Reo and her scooter was broken. And I said I'd fix it. And then after, when I went to pick her up at the end of the day, I hadn't fixed it. And so to cover up, I said, let's go to the pools, go do something fun, thinking she'd forget about it. Well, she didn't forget about it. And I realized then I obviously had a broken promise, which caused her to behave and throw tantrums around me because she knew I'd never deliver. Because when I realized I didn't keep my word there was like 100 other instances where I didn't keep my word. And the one I used was around, she'd always want to go to the park and I'd say, let's go after the supermarket. And we come out of the supermarket, it's raining. And it was there and then in that thought that I realized I can't control the future. There's no way I can control the future. The weather might hit. Natural disaster might hit, we might get sick, they might get sick. Our best intentions is, right, we're going to go for a run tomorrow, but I can't guarantee what's going to happen tomorrow. So when I realized that, when I realized, put a full stop on the past, I can't control the future. Yes, I want some things in the future, but I can't control what will actually happen. Then the only thing that was left that I found myself sitting in was the like the now. And I thought, wow, is this what the old meditators and the monks and, you know, all those who do the yoga things, is this what they talk about being at peace, about being content and fulfilled? And it was this surreal, and is this surreal feeling. And I just encourage you to get to this space. I mean, look at your life. I mean, look at it. Get to the space where you realize you can't control the future. What you can control is what you do right now. So let's just say, I bet you $1 million. I bet you $1 million that I will put my hand up right now. Okay? I bet you $1 million that I will clap my hands right now. Okay, I'm very certain of what I can do right now. I bet you $1 million that I'll go for a run on Sunday. How certain am I? I'm confident that I'll do it, but I actually can't control that. You know, again, what if I got sick? Maybe I couldn't go for a run. What if I had to go to hospital? What if my foot got run over later today? We can't control the future. We want to think about things for the future, but we can't control. And so as soon as we realize what we can control is what we do right now, like in this next 2-second block, it was powerful for me. It gave me focus. It gave me energy. It gave me certainty. And that fear of would it work almost just disappeared, because why think that? It hasn't even happened yet. And I realized that all I need to do to achieve what it is I want to achieve is take the next step now. Take the next step now, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step. And I would think, oh yeah, cool, be good to have an online business one day. Great, but I wouldn't spend half an hour thinking about it. And what I've got to the space now, again, taking a leaf out of Russell Brunson's book, he talks about the one domino, and he got this from Tim Ferriss, talking about what's the one thing that's going to knock all the other things you need to do over and get you closer to your result or your goal. And so each day I wake up and I think about what's the one thing, not 7 things, not 8 things, still taking a bit of practice. But it's identifying the critical thing that is going to move you closer, faster to your end result. And do that now. Like literally do that now. And so my daily schedule, obviously I get up, I've got the kids, and first thing I need to do is cook dinner for later on in the day, because that's my role in the house. I provide dinner, so I do the dinner. After that, what's the next thing I do? I've got to do the lunches. So I do the lunches. And I just work in little steps. And when I get to my time at the end of the day after work and the kids are down, I say, what's the one thing that's going to get me closer to the end result from my online business? And we bang that out. So I just want to emphasize, we have great focus and great energy and great power if we realize all we can control is the now. And that if we complete the past, that no longer interferes with us, or less, interferes with us less. And we realize we actually can't control the future. Take those 2 things away and you're only left with the now. And what are you going to do now to get that step closer? Okay, a couple of words that I want us to interchange here. And I got this from the Landmark Forum earlier in the year. And all it does is just leaves your mind open for options. So replace the but with the word and. Whenever you think you're going to find a challenge, because whenever we say the word but, it automatically sends the signal that we can't do it. So I need to spend more time on my niche business, on my online business, but I'm too busy. Automatically, there's a feeling of being resigned, of no way out. And so replace that with and just have a see what it feels like. So I need to spend more time on my project, on my niche business, online business, and I'm too busy. And I'm too busy. And automatically there's a couple of little things, options that I can do to try and spend more time on my online business. So where I encourage you to put the word but out of your vocabulary, and it keeps our mind opens up to options, and so it aligns with that rule we talked about. Failure is not taking action. Setbacks are signals for us to change stuff. And so we might say, I really want more clients, but I really want more money, but I don't have enough clients. Okay, well, we're stuck there. Or I really want more money and I don't have enough clients. Let's see what comes up. All right. Okay, so this is that journey continuum or pathway. And when we think of our solutions to painful problems, there's a couple of things that come to mind, traditional things. One is a product. So we might produce a product for someone's painful problem. So an example might be, the old knee band. It's a fairly straightforward example where we might have pulled a ligament muscle or something, and we're on a rehab, and we wear one of those knee bands to help us with our rehab and get onto the field faster. Okay, so that's a product of someone's painful problem. I've got a mate who started Serious Smoothies, and they're the healthy smoothies that come in the bag, and you just chuck it. It's got all the ingredients already in there. You just add water and chuck it in the mixer. That's a solution to a problem, isn't it? People have less time to cook but want to be healthy. And shakes out there have got a lot of sugar, and so they created this product. Okay, so that's one way you can solve someone's painful problem. The other way is provide a service. And in sport, this is done through coaching, isn't it? Professional coaches provide a service. They provide a service to a club's painful problem, which is usually losing. And you get the types of Dave Rennie who come in and take a team from the bottom to the top of the table. And that's their service. There's no products as such. It's their service. And these two are great. They can, obviously you can make money, and people have made money out of these things. What can be required here is some money up front to invest. You might have to set up production or product creation. A service, you might be a financial service or a accounting service. So there's costs there in setting your business up. I want to introduce to you, which what Tim Ferriss talks about in his 4-Hour Workweek book, is the information product. Now, this is taking what you know, all right? And Russell Brunson talks about this in Expert Secrets. So if you look at the niche circle there, you're operating in a niche of people. So myself, I deal with focusing on former professional athletes. That's who I'm dealing with. But you also could be providing a niche, service or product or information. And so for me, our goal is to help former professional athletes get into their own business through online education. And so how we do that, how we help people do that, we're using other experts who have done that themselves, and we're creating an online course, the information product. It's their recipe, their proof of concept that helped them get into business and succeed at business. help them teach others how to succeed in business, one-on-one maybe, or group coaching they may have done. And that recipe or those recipes help people go from point A to point B, owning their own business. So we package that up into a product, that knowledge, those recipes, we package that up into an information product. Now, the benefit of this is it's low capital. There's not a lot of money that you have to put up. You don't have to have a building. You can create a free website. It's very minimal cost because you're creating it from your information or your knowledge or someone else's. All right, it's flexible. You can do this around your current job. You can do this at night. You don't have to be open from 9 to 5 to sell the product. And it's low risk because we're not putting up a lot of money. Okay, so we are not new to information products. We've seen information products around in the form of books and DVDs. So Mind Power and Rich Dad Poor Dad are examples of information from experts that they've put into recipes or a process or a system in their book. And John Kehoe, he was a musical promoter. He'd go and promote concerts and things, and he was frustrated with life, and he knew he wanted to do something more and meaningful. And so he went into the woods for 3 years and did some personal discovery. He read a whole lot of books. He did this big growth stage, and he read religious books. He read key leaders' books and leadership or discovery and Buddhism, and he just massive growth phase. And he came out of there with a system that helped him create fulfillment, success, and he put it into his book way back in, I think it was 1979, I think he started that. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, if you don't know his story, his family was not wealthy or average or poor, and his best friend's family that he used to go around and hang out with, his dad was an investor, and they had an investment portfolio, and they had a different lifestyle. He talks about his poor dad and rich dad and the difference he noticed. And so he went on this growth phase and learnt more off them and started to find what worked, created his recipes, and now it's in a book, bestseller for many, many years. And the secret is the law of attraction. And there was a lady in Aussie who discovered something. Then she went out looking to see if others had experienced the same thing and got all these other experts on who were pretty successful in their own field, and they held the same philosophy. And so this is an example of information product, traditional information product. And we'd buy these for $35, $45 online at the bookshop. Okay, moving on in our history, we go into stuff like personal development programs. This is one by a guy called Pat Massetti. He came to one of our network marketing seminars, and he did this massive talk, and then he said at the end, and if you want the secrets to, getting what I've got my own system that I developed, my secret recipes. It's got DVDs and a workbook. You buy it for $300. I was like, wow, okay, cool. This is great. You can see that they're solving some people's painful problems, and none more than these next two. This one here came to us when we were parents, and as we started to have 2 kids, we got less and less time to exercise. So the gym memberships went out. Time to actually go for a run were very limited, and if so, more limited now with 3 kids. And so what did we want? Our painful problem was we needed to exercise. We're putting on a bit of weight, but we needed something short, and we needed something to do at home. And along came Shaun T, T25 aerobic system. And again, we've seen aerobic systems on the infomercial days, but you get a whole bunch of DVDs, you get a detailed nutrition plan, you get a calendar, you get all these other little benefits to help solve the painful problem that we have, many others had, and you buy that $41. Okay, so you can see a pattern here. That information products, we can use our own expertise and our own recipes, or we can get other people's secret recipes to solve the painful problem. That's the key. Second to last one, and when we started having kids, and our little first one was about 1, maybe 2, we're like, man, we've got to master this parent thing. And so my wife came across this audio series that you could buy called Talking to Toddlers. And it was this young guy who I think used to be a psychologist and did a bit of work with parents, and then was like, hey, there's a big need here. People wanting to, to manage their kids. And so he did more growth. He spoke to a few other experts in the persuasion industry and others in the child care into child development industry, and he produced these Talking to Toddlers series, which we paid $37 for online. So I want you to ever think, before I head into the last one, imagine putting all your effort into a product, information product. And then once it's done, it's done. And if it's good enough and it's solving a painful problem, then there's going to be a need. That's the key. The last one I want to share with you is this Coaching Accelerator program. And this is done by a Kiwi guy who now lives in the States, and he teaches other people to be consultants. Now, he was a generalist. He used to do all the bum jobs at Vodafone, I think. And then he left because he wanted to do something more meaningful. He left his university study, which I think at the time was about digital marketing, I think. And he was sitting at home one day, and he had the electrician come around fixing the hot water cylinder. And they were talking, and the guy goes, oh, man, I love these jobs. They're high paying, and I'd rather do these jobs than any other job. And Sam goes, well, look, if I help you get more hot water cylinder business, would that be helpful? He goes, yeah, I'd love that. And so he, through his digital marketing, internet marketing, he was able to get more customers for this one electrician. And he figured out a recipe, a system to help get this guy more customers. So then he helped others get more customers. And so he packaged that proof of concept, that recipe up, and sold it as service to others. Well, along the way, he then also created this app called Snap Inspect, which sold for millions, and it was basically helping rental house managers. Instead of on the paper, they'd come in and inspect the house, and they'd take ages doing this paper thing. Then they'd have to go back and enter it into their computer. Well, he was sitting there watching this guy, inspector, do the process. He was like, mate, we can do this a lot better. He did some growth phase, spoke to others, did some research, developed this app, Snap Inspect, which then enabled people just to do it there and then. Information, and that was a product that he was able to sell. And he's done a few others. And what he's done here is he's combined all his knowledge from that whole journey, and he's detailed all the recipes to take your concept to the market. And he was selling this for $2,000. Now, when I got into the Facebook group, there was 600 people that had bought this course. So do the maths. And that's the power of an information product. If it's solving a painful problem and people are willing to give over money for it, and if it's good, like Sam's stuff, like we all know how good Mind Power, Rich Dad Poor Dad Mind Power is. I mean, this is all great stuff. It's beneficial. And Sam's stuff, it's got everything you need. You could be out of school next year and do his program better than going to university. So you've got to provide the value and solve the problem. And all I'm highlighting for you here is, as an information product, it then gives you time and money. Make money while you sleep. And that's what really tweaked my interest listening to Tim Ferriss. So with that in mind, really want to focus on the opportunity switch, or what we call the wife swap. What is going to get others out of their current vehicle if they're already doing a course? This is my field. If they're already doing a course to be a coach, or know how to be a coach, or to know how to do their own business, why would they come over to us? What's the point of difference? And so for me, I'm saying, right, hey, yeah, here's a course to help you get into your own business, and if you want to get into professional coaching, this course is specifically for professional or former or current professional athletes. So what would you rather do? If you saw two ads, one ad saying, here's an online course to help get into your own business, or here's an online course to help former or current professional athletes get into their own business. Which one would you get into? So, highlighting that opportunity switch. It's important to get them to swap their wife. It's got to be clear-cut, team. It's got to be absolutely clear-cut. I mean, if you've got a partner, wife, husband, are you going to give up? Are you going to swap your husband, wife, family? Probably some of you might be saying yes. But you're going to need to be really clear on what you're swapping for. Like, why is it would I swap? Get out of the vehicle that I'm in to the other vehicle. Swap the wife that I've got with someone else. And this statement comes from Russell Brunson's book, which we'll get into deeper over this program. And it's a great, simple template. So all you do is insert what they desire most and what they fear the most. So how to, what they desire most. How to be financially free. That's what my market wanted to be. How to be financially free without, and their biggest fear was having to put up money with risk of losing it all. So that's the statement. How to become financially free without risking all your money. Okay, so you're going to have a play around with it. As another example there, how to learn to own your own business without having to pay for a 3-year degree, because our course will be online for 6-12 weeks. How to unlock your potential to succeed in your endeavor without having to pay for a sports psychologist. So you're going to have to work out this. We're going to have to research the niche people that your market is. What do they desire the most? Remember, we're going back to that niche sheet. And what do they fear the most? Inserted in there. And you've got your wife swap statement. Finally, team, we need to buy this book. It really is a game plan on how to take the idea that you have to market. And over the next 12 months, we will be basically, when we meet up every fortnight, we'll be referring to parts of the book. So go to Experts, www.experts.com, order the book. I would also highly recommend ordering the audio version so that you can put it on your phone and listen to it if you exercise or on your way to work. I thrash this thing most days, and it's literally step-by-step guide. So a couple of tasks. Develop your wife swap statement. There's a template there to help break out what your business services might be. And we'll go into more detail on that with Expert Secrets. So enjoy the next week. And I know from probably from module 4 and 5, there's still a bit there to do. So tick over on those things, and we'll catch up for a call next week. And then we get into our fortnightly coaching. And that's the journey, team. It's so exciting. If you're following our progress, jump on the Sporties Inc. page, Facebook page, and you'll see that we're starting to implement some of the principles we've spoken about, and also some of the principles from Russell's book and Tim's book and a few others. So thanks for listening, and we really look forward to helping us move forward into your new endeavors. JT out.